Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So how do you know for sure that I'm right about the interpretation of Israel and the offspring of Israel? Well, it's very simple, really. In the Old Testament, people were stoned to death for sinning. And they were stoned to death and they were denied heaven as a result. They were killed and they were denied heaven. Some people defected and they joined other nations. We see that in the Old Testament as well. So we see people worshiping other gods, and when they do so, they yoked themselves to that God. So what is Israel? Right? Israel is a play on words for Israel, but that's not so important if you don't agree with that wordplay there. That's not so important. Israel refers to the nation and the God that the nation worships. Bear with me now. Israel does not refer to the modern state of Israel because not a single one of them are obeying God through me. They've broken into compartments. So when God gave them the law, he said, if people worship another God, you have to deal with them. They are no longer considered the children of Israel. Now, if a Jew marries somebody from another race, okay, a Jew who worships God, mind you, and obeys God, then that person converts to Judaism, right? That's what they're supposed to do, and becomes the offspring of the nation of Israel as well. There is no other way to look at this. There is no other way to look at this. None. Now, when the Babylonians were taking the Jews into captivity, the prophets were telling the Jews, you need to be beneath them. Again, they were telling the Jews, you need to be beneath them. And the Old Testament ends with the Jews basically in Babylonian captivity. So if the covenant with God and the Jews is that no matter what, they're going to rule over other people, why are they beneath the Babylonians? Pretty straightforward. That wasn't the covenant, is why. If the covenant with God is that they are going to spiritually rule over the other people, it goes back to Proverbs 17:2. If someone serves the Lord, keep in mind there is not one central Jewish temple. There are a bunch of synagogues all over the world. Again, there's not one central Jewish temple. So if somebody is going to obey God, and they are the offspring of Israel, God doesn't require you to follow a Jew. God does not require for you to follow a Jew. In fact, all the Jews, all the people who identify as Jews who are practicing Judaism are cheating me out of my right to lead. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not worship any gods but me, what have you. They're idolaters. God does not want you to obey idolaters. Now, I'm not saying this to cause unnecessary pain to the Jews. I'm clarifying this. They need to obey God through me. Proverbs 17:2 makes it crystal clear that God wants people who establish the throne in righteousness to be in charge. And he doesn't care about the flesh. When Moses married a Cushite wife, God punished the people who were criticizing him. And Israel is said to be the wife of God, including the king, who's God's representative as the husband. That means all the other males there are considered part of the wife, basically. So how can they then demand patriarchal submission in that sort of way? So again, put simply, people who obey God according to his rules, which is the only way to obey him, are the offspring of Israel, because Israel, first and foremost in the story, is a place where people obey God. Anyone else doing anything else there is outside the divine order.